Hey, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Been a little while. One second. Let's just get this all set up. Get everything in focus. How's that? Looks pretty good to me. Um, yeah, it's been a little while. Didn't really have a whole lot of time to do painting this past week, but we're getting back into it now. And so, um, I've recently got some really cool minis sent out from an order that I had placed with Major Minis. They're very cool Australian maker of minis. Um, One of them was this here KRORK. Hang on, let's just change my light around a bit so that we can actually get rid of this disgusting shadow. See if I can fix that up. That's better. It's not in the way as much anymore. There we are. That should be good. Yeah, so this KRORK here, look very cool. I'm a big fan. Let's zoom this in, give you a nice look-see. You probably saw him on the thumbnail as well. That's why you're here. Hopefully, if you are here. But yeah, very cool. I like it a lot. This is my first time building 3D printed minis as well. Interesting experience. But yeah, I think it's very cool. He's very orky. I managed to cut myself open on the spikes. That's how orky he is. So passing rating there at least. But yeah, looks pretty sick. And came with a cool base as well. So don't need to base it myself. Um, yeah, so I want to try doing a grimdark style painting technique. If you watch painting YouTubers, Treverio Miniatures is the guy who I got this idea from. And so we're gonna just see if we can get started on that. What faction is he? This is a KRORK, so that is an orc. Not an official mini, but it's the race that the orcs in the current setting are descended from. So the super soldiers made by the old ones in the War in Heaven. So what we're gonna do to get started is since I'm going for a more of a grimdark style for this, I want it to look really battered and dirty. So to start off, I'm going to dry brush some brown as our base coat. I'm just going to get a bit of brown on our texture palette here. Just there. And then dampen our dry brush with the moisture pad. We're just getting enough moisture to, not sure if we can see that, but there's a little bit of a sheen on my palm there. We don't need a huge amount of moisture on the dry brush. Let's get this base out of the way. And then we're just going to pick up a tiny little bit of brown. And we're just going to swizzle that around with our dry brush. Make sure we coat the ends nicely. And then we can just start covering the mini. So we're just doing a nice heavy overbrush, just trying to cover everything we can. I'm not sure how much you're able to see with what's actually changing here, because it's pretty subtle. I think I might actually pick up a tiny bit more brown and not brush off as much of it as I have, just so that I can get a bit more coverage with it, because I'm not going for, I'm not trying to be super careful here. I'm fine with covering everything. Howdy, dry brushing's great, thank you. I'm not super experienced with it, but look, I'm just gonna say it's thanks to the brush, because it's quite a nice quality brush, makes it a lot easier. Pick up a little bit more paint and just get rid of the excess. And for some of these bits that are a bit harder to reach with the big brush that I'm using here, I'll come back with a smaller one after I've finished the overbrush on the rest of the mini. There we are. As we're getting this the full coverage of brown, it's going to work as a really nice base coat for everything to come. Because I'm going to go for a more chipped and battered look for the top coat. So we'll probably stipple on the darker greens and all that sort of thing. Make it look like this guy's been buried for a really long time or something like that. I reckon it'll look great. About to go live here in a few hours working on painting some Bolt Action Conflict 47 models, so you painted and wanted to come and see. Liked and subs. Cool, thank you. Good luck with the stream. If I'm not streaming when you start, I might pop in and say hello. Okay, I think that's most of our top coat done. Just need to get this leg back here. Have a bit more moisture from the from my moisture pad. That way I don't have to use extra paint. Just re-wet what I've already got on the brush there. We'll get a little bit of extra paint as well, while I'm at it though. Thanks, it's an awesome looking model. Is it an orc from 40k? Yeah, so it's a third-party model that I got from a seller called Major Minis. It's a KRORK from 40k, so I don't think Games Workshop makes I don't think Games Workshop makes models for these units because they're not in the modern setting. But they're really cool, and I saw the mini and really wanted to get it. Yeah, I really like the quality of the mini. My first time doing or building a 3D printed mini, and it was quite fun. They have a really weird texture. The 3D resin, it's quite different from the standard plastic that you get from most of the official models. Okay, gonna swap over to a smaller dry brush to do the rest of this. A bit more water on my moisture pad. Really try the orcs love kit bashing. Always been a god player myself. Yeah, that's the cool thing about orcs is you can just do whatever and it's like it still makes sense and still looks good. Just smash it together. Completely lore friendly. That resin can be thirsty for paint too. Right, okay. Yeah, I for the priming coat, I managed to get it mostly covered with what was left of my my rattle can that I've been using. So hopefully I shouldn't have to worry too much um about it sucking up lots of paint. But we'll see how we go. It's been a while since I've come through and just let loose with dry brushes, and it's really nice. Very satisfying. A lot more relaxing than carefully trying to get everything done with the regular brushes. Okay, that's probably all I can achieve with the dry brushes for now, so now I will just get a one of my aura quality regular brushes, and I'll just pick up some of the paint off the texture palette and just stipple it into those recesses. And we don't have to worry about being too neat, because we're going for a pretty rough paint job anyway, and most of this isn't going to be visible in the final paint job. The goal is, once we get the brown all over it, we're gonna come back through and stipple a patchy green layer over the top, or what is going to be like the original paint job that has chipped and weathered away over time. So you just want to make sure that any bits that are going to be peeking through are going to be this brown underneath. Hey, I think I've gotten most of the recessed bits. Okay. That should be right for our base coat. Cool. And now we can get to the fun part. Well, actually, I say the fun part, but I'm kind of I say the fun part, but I'm a little bit nervous about this because I don't know how it's going to turn out. That chopper on the arm looks proper orky to me. All you boys are going to want them true. Yeah. I'm not sure if you were here earlier when I was saying this one is, like, this mini is orky enough that when I was putting him together, I managed to cut my finger open on one of his spikes. So he is proper orky. They are quite pointy. Okay, so what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to do our waagh green for our first base coat. So we're going to start off with this. Just get a bit of that on my wet palette. Hey, what am I saying? We will want. Well, actually, I might want to try doing this with a sponge. See how that works. So let's just get a teeny bit of undiluted green on a sponge. Oh, yeah, so I say a teeny bit, there's a fair bit here. So I've got some green on the sponge, and I'm going to just dab out most of it onto my texture palette. Until, there we are. Now I've got a bit of a pattern there that's going to come out with it, and let's just try going over and see what sort of effect we can get with this. Slow down a bit because I've kind of smeared it. I think if we just dab this on, might be able to build up a nice bit of definition. I should have done this on an easier to reach spot first so that I could see how it went. Yeah, I should have done it on this leg, not the one that's sort of tucked in behind everything. Oh well. The idea here is we want to make it look really weathered, so we're not going for full coverage. We want to keep bits of the brown underneath showing through. Maybe I'll come through with the dry part of the sponge, and maybe just try to pull up little bits of the still wet paint. I think that helps with the texture a little bit. Yeah, I'm actually liking that. Sort of alternating between the the part of the sponge that has the paint on it, and then the dry section. And I think, oh, okay. OBS just said it disconnected and reconnected. Not sure if we're still going or not. I think we are. One sec. Just making sure everything is still running. Oh, we good? I think we're good. That was weird. Anyway, as I was saying, I think this will look quite good once we get the majority of the model covered. We're good? Cool, thank you. Just a slight freeze frame, we're good. Cool. Yeah, I like how that's looking. Let's go through and do the rest of it. Pick up a little bit more of the green off the texture palette there. And let's just work our way up the leg. Yeah, I really like the texture that this gives. I think because the sponge brush that I'm using, it's got it's a lot finer than like a regular kitchen sponge. So the little speckled patterning that I'm getting is really um it's really subtle compared to, because I've tried this before with a kitchen sponge, but the size of the bubbles on the sponge that with the kitchen sponge were just a bit too big, and I wasn't a huge fan of the really exaggerated texture. Pick up a bit more off the texture palette there. Alright, I'll need to pick up some more paint because my the stuff on the texture palette started to dry out. So just get a bit more from the wet palette. There we are. And just pull that back a bit with the dry part of the brush. The The rough kitchen sponge works well for you to apply scrapes and scratches using lead belcher for a damage effect. Yeah, okay. I guess that it'd be good for, yeah, getting more specifically adding it'd be better for blemishes rather than the main coat. Yeah, the fine sponge I find is really nice for doing the main coat, but maybe you're right, and a slightly larger or a slightly rougher sponge would be really good for blemishes. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but the spikes are just ripping my sponge apart. You can see that little bit there. There's been It's just gouged a chunk out of it. Truly some orc design right here. Proper orkidom spikes are they are indeed. Painting this the KRORK like this, I'm really I feel like this could be really good to do Dark Angels with as well, this technique. Just because it gives like a nice level of it gives like a nice balance between the of the green and the undercoat. And so I feel like, because that's like I really want to do Dark Angels, but I haven't really figured out a way that I could do it without it just looking like bright green. But I think this could be a nice way to get that balance of green without it being really cartoony. Frank? Hmm? Frank Horrigan from Fallout 2. I haven't played Fallout 2. I wasn't sure what their reference was. Hello, peeps. Wow. People just flooding in now. This is crazy. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm really used to doing all of my coding using just regular brushes, so it's a really nice change of pace just to do this with a sponge. And then any patchy bits I can just pull back with the dry part of the sponge. Love you watch your feed wall for live painting streams. Yeah, I've had a few people who've popped in who've just um who yeah just watch for painting streams, and it's nice just to have people pop in and have a chat. Yeah, I think in the past couple of years or so, the YouTube algorithm has done well has changed a little bit, and so it picks out a lot of low viewer streams and low view videos quite a lot more frequently now, which is really nice. What kind of paints do I use? I'm just using the Citadel acrylics, so this is Wild Green. I've got a Vallejo. What color have I got there? Angel Green over there that I'm probably going to use for some of the highlights, but yeah, for the most part, I just stick to regular Citadel acrylics. I haven't been painting for a super long time. I started last year-ish, but I had a pretty long period where I wasn't doing anything. And so I've just gotten back into it in the past probably month or two. And it's just really nice getting back into it. Got a bit too even of a finish on the fingers there, so I'm just going to pull it back with the dry part of the sponge. Use the tube cream paint acrylics and oils. Watercolor paints do the washes and glazes. I see. Yeah, I've had a few people come in and recommend different brands of paints that they use. So I think it's cool to see how much variety there is. And once I run low on the current colors that I've got, I'm probably gonna shop around and see what other brands have to offer rather than just staying in the Citadel ecosystem. Be nice to sort of broaden my horizons and find ones that I might like for other things. I just put a fair bit on there. I'm just gonna dab it away with the dry part of the sponge. I might have a bit too much paint on the sponge, so I'm just going to get rid of some of it on my texture palette and then come back through. Got a great set of 72 colors regular. I have about 300 paints you use on a daily basis. Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm not quite that deep yet. That's awesome though. Yeah, I don't paint quite enough to warrant going that hard, but I do really enjoy it. So I think there may come a day when I have that much paint. Right now, I've just got a single drawer that's about a third full, and that's enough for me for most of my purposes. But yeah, I am really interested in experimenting with oils and all that sort of thing. And I've got enough of a backlog of models to get through that I could probably justify buying all these different kinds of paints to give it a shot. But right now, I want to feel like I've gotten to a point where I can paint well with the acrylics before I start trying to mess around with things like oils and streaking grime and all that sort of thing. Right, for these bits that are a bit harder to reach, I reckon I'll just clean that up with the dry part of the sponge, and then I'll come back through and stipple with my with one of my ratty brushes that I don't really care too much about damaging. Yo, it isn't my favorite streamer. Hey Reese, how you going? An A-OK, that's the way, mate. Waiting for a 40k knight to come in. We'll do some melee putt sculpting in freehand on the armor panels. Really want the Slayer sword to bring home. Man, I feel like a Titan would be a project to work on. Like I built I did a Necron Knight Scythe recently, and that took me a long time. That barely even comes close to the size of a Titan. That'd be so fun though. Yeah, I feel like once I have been really interested in doing just like the regular 40k knights. I feel like once I'm more confident in my ability to paint well, I'd want to try do a knight because the all the heraldry and that sort of thing is so cool to me. Hey, we'll just get these little bits of green on the torso under the backpack here, and then I reckon we'll come through and do some of the highlights. So that's most of our base coat done. Looks really nice, I think. I like the way the brown peeks through in parts. And so from here, I'm gonna come back through um, with our sponge. I'm gonna get a slightly lighter green. So I'm gonna try this, the Vallejo Angel Green here. Get a bit of that on the wet palette. And we're just going to stipple really small amounts of it. Gonna go for some zenithal and be some volumetric highlights here. See how we go. I'm just gonna get rid of any excess paint from our sponge. And then just pick up some of our highlight color on the end of it. Get rid of the excess, because we only want a very little bit. And just go with our zenithal first. I think I got rid of a bit too much. Dab it out enough that we can get rid of all the really thick stuff. And then there we are. Really just want to put it along the top ridge of this piece of the shoulder pad. Pick out that edge there. Pick out that edge there. Have a great stream time to work. Righto, cool. Well, have a good day. Thanks for dropping in. And maybe I'll see you later. Yeah, I'm really liking the effect that this gives. It's fun for such an imprecise method. I feel like this is really reminiscent of dry brushing. It has a lot of I guess it behaves very similarly. It's just about building up depth, but it just works slightly differently. Like the effect it gives is quite similar. Which is nice because I like dry brushing. I am having little bits of sponge get torn off and stuck in the mini. Those the orc engineering is too strong. Is that a bit of sponge in there? One sec. No, okay, that's not sponge. I thought it was sponge for a second. We're good. We'll just get a bit of the brighter part on the top half of this knee pad, and then we'll leave it darker on the bottom half. Just get that nice gradient there. And a bit of volumetric highlighting just on the top of the thigh. Pull it back with the dry part. It's coming along all right. Oop, that's a bit too much there. Just dab that off. Just wipe it around with the dry part of the sponge. You agree the sponge method and the shadow grade will look good for Dark Angels? Yeah, yeah, I think it'd be quite nice because yeah, like I was saying, I think that if I were to try to paint Dark Angels with a brush, it would definitely end up coming out really cartoony, which I'm not a huge fan of. And so I think just the nice gradients you get with the sponging Works really nicely. I think it would look really cool with the Dark Angels. Probably be a bit more reserved with the green. Lean more towards the browns and the greens, like I'm doing with the KRORK here. But I mean, he's an orc. He needs to be as green as possible. Let's get a ratty brush and use it just to get some more greens in the recesses. Just in here. Just build this up a little bit more. Okay. So now let's just come through and do some of the really bright highlights. So for my brightest green, I'm just going to use the Warpstone Glow. So for reference, these were the two greens that we used beforehand. I'm going to be quite sparing with the Warpstone Glow. So let's just get rid of any excess paint off of our sponge. Pretty good. And we'll just get a little bit on the tip. Okay, let's see how we go here. Just for the absolute highest points. A little bit of something peeling off the one of the spikes there. It is a bit of a bit of dust that got caught underneath the base coat. Just get rid of that. Okay, I reckon, at least for the greens on the front, it's looking mostly pretty good. Spin them around the back there and just pick out a few more of the highlights on the back. And I think we can come through and start doing the other colors then. I have no idea what I want to do for the other colors yet, so we'll just fiddle around and see what we come up with. Going for a bit of a volumetric highlight on the bit where it wraps around there, around the belt. Just picking out the bits towards the center. And then I'll just sort of feather it out with the dry part of the brush. And then we'll do the same there, just down below. Yeah, I must say, I am very pleasantly surprised by the versatility of the sponge. You can do a lot with it. Okay, I reckon. Oh, whoops, shit. I reckon we're pretty good for greens. So let's just get rid of the excess of sponge. Now, I'm not sure what we want to do for the rest of it. I reckon the blade. Maybe it could be cool to do it as an energy weapon. Have it like maybe like glowing red, like 1,000-degree hot knife versus Imperial Guardsman kind of shit. Um, and I'm not sure what we want to do for these. One sec, I'm just gonna get some orc reference pictures up, just see what we can come up with. Let's see. 40k orcs. Okay. Issues. I don't want to go too bright. Maybe we just keep this like dark, relatively close to black. Or I guess the brown that we've done it in. Um, just a bit of silver, maybe. Yeah, let's crack out the lead belcher. Yeah, lead belcher never hurts. And I'm sure we can make something happen. Oh. Oh no. Damn it. I had it plugged in. I had my camera plugged in, but I didn't have it switched on, so it ran out of battery. No. Okay. Damn it. I always forget something. Um let's see. I've just turned hang on. Don't worry about it. We might be able to get this back up and running. Um Let's see. I've flicked the power on. Let's see if it runs directly off the wall or if I'll need to give it some charge first. Okay. No, we're back. I don't know how long we'll be back for, but we're back. Okay. Um, so we've got this fella here. Um, I reckon what we want to do is let's get our Rhinox hide, so the brown that we'd initially base coated him in, and just reapply that to these bits. Just clean up any sections where it might have gotten green on it. get a nice smooth brown coat. And then I reckon what we want to do is we'll come back through and stipple our silver onto it. And maybe that'll give it this rusted look. And it'll be silver, but we'll have these little bits of brown peeking through. And we'll do the same to the stick grenade on his front as well. Give it a coat in our rhinox hide. Cool. And I reckon what I might actually do as well is all the spikes I'll come back through, do them in lead belcher, and then I'll come through and apply rhinox hide just to the tips of them, just stipple it onto the spikes, and make them look rusted and damaged. So just clean our brush while the rhinox hide dries on the ammo belt. And we'll get a little bit of lead belcher on the brush. I'm going to swap to a slightly better quality brush because I'm worried about these really bad bristles going and getting paint where I don't want it to be. Yeah, this one at least, the bristles stay together a bit better. After you hit them with lead belcher, just use your finger, the blood will dry. Yeah, that's the most hardcore way to do it. Give the best results. Who needs paint when you can just rip your fingers open on the orc spikes? Man. Yeah, no, that was an experience putting these things together and just ripping myself open on the spikes. Was not expecting it at all. There's a little bit of silver is nice to help break up the overwhelming green. Yeah, I must say, this mini is slightly uncomfortable to hold no matter where I grab it because there's always something digging into my finger. Like up here, you can see I've got this spike right in the pad of my finger. Over here, I got this spike right in the joint of that finger. There's always a spike somewhere digging into my hand. As orky as can be. Yeah, getting there. It's looking really nice with the spikes all picked out. Okay. So now I reckon clean our brush and let's get a ratty brush like this one here. And let's just stipple some lead belcher onto this ammo belt here. See how that comes out. Okay. I reckon that's probably good enough. We can come back through and pull the silver back if need be. Oh, I forgot to do the spikes on this hand. Good thing I was looking over here. Hmm. Where else do I need to pick out in italics? Probably this bit here. And other than that, Oh, there goes the camera again. Damn it. All right. Well, I'm gonna let the camera stay off for a second, so you'll just have to make do with my voice for probably, let's go a minute or so, because I turned it back on immediately before, and we got this long, so let's just give it a minute of charge time. I'm just doing some extra metallics around the rims of the feet, and I'm gonna really dirty that up when we're doing the finishing touches. But I'll just do the rims of the feet, and then we'll turn the camera back on. We should be right though. Camera overheating? No, I forgot to turn I had it plugged in to run off power, but then I didn't flick the switch on when I started streaming, so it's just running low on. It's just not like the battery is just running out. Yeah, I always forget something. When I first started getting back into streaming, I did have overheating issues, but then I managed to fix that, but now I'm just stupid. So just a second, I'll try turn it back on in just a moment. All right, let's see how we go. Do we have power? We do. Okay. Let's see how long we get out of this. Um, so we got to turn your stream off in YouTube the other day. You just turned off in OBS. Oh, okay. So what, it was just blank feed on the YouTube then for a while. Okay, let's get teeny bit of the Rhinox hide. Let's just use this to pick out little bits on the ends of the spikes. Yeah, you fixed it later. Yeah, there's always something you forget. Yeah, set it up so that YouTube stream ends when it stops receiving footage from OBS. Okay, I'm trying to start the stream from OBS as well. Yeah, does make life a bit easier. All right, I think I'm going to go back to using the sponge to pick out these bits because I was trying to do it just with with the brush, but it's not really giving me the finish I want. And also the brown that I have on my texture palette has kind of turned to jelly, so we'll need to get a little bit more out there. Just a little blob like that. And let's get a little bit of it on the corner of our sponge. All right, and let's just dab it over our spikes. Just sort of pulling outwards with it. Zoom this in a little bit just so we can see what we're doing. I might pull that back out a little bit because it's not focusing particularly well. I'm also going to come through these rims that I've done on his boots. I'm going to just dab on some little bits of damage. Just along the edges there. We just dirty this up a bit. I can always do this more when I blend it in with the base. Just coming around on the edges of the metal here. Just dabbing it with the brown just to give it a bit of weathering. Yeah, I think the metallic looks quite nice there on the top. I think it did well with that. That it looks like a right crumpin machine. Them Yumis are done for. Yeah. True. This guy is gonna get some crumpin done. Maybe that should be a new bit of content I should get into is orc painting, but the whole voiceover, all the narration is just orc roleplay. I feel like that'd be exhausting. I don't want to spend too much time on this mini just because I want to see how much I can get with a relatively simple painting technique. So I'll try to hurry this on a little bit. I spent too much time on my on the last mini I painted. I don't want a repeat of that. Am I familiar with Gundam? I am familiar with it. I haven't watched it or built any, but I am familiar with it. I have a friend who builds a lot of them. Looks like an Ork and a Zaku 2 suit in the best kind of way. Okay, one sec. I need to see this. Oh, yeah, I can see it. Okay, so I'll just dab a little bit of our a brighter green on the front of the grenade here. Just give it a bit of highlight. Oh, there goes the battery again. All right, I reckon um I'll finish up this little bit that I'm working on, and then I'll probably call the stream for the day because I have not got enough charge in this camera to keep going. And I reckon we try to finish this up tomorrow or something. Like we do the finishing touches on the orc and get the base set up, and then probably call it there tomorrow. One sec. I'll just see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of the battery just so that we can see what we're doing for the last little bits. All right, let's get the battery. Well, let's get the camera back on. Oh. Do we have power? We do. Okay. So, oh, it's doing it's doing the weird. I don't know if we can see this or not. I don't know why my camera's spliced like that. Now, one sec, gotta turn it off and then back on again. I do need a mech boy over here. Actually, no, more than anything right now, I just need the power of belief. I need all the boys to believe along with me that the camera's gonna last long enough for me to do these final little touches. Just doing the little bits here and there. Okay, that looks good. Um, any other final touches that we want to do before we call it for here? Anything that I've halfway through that I've forgotten about? Might just dirty up this little ring here. And so then for the for future me, what we'll need to do is we need to do the chopper. We need to do clean up his face there, probably get some lights in his eye or something like that, really pick it out, make him nice and mean looking. Do something with the backpack here, make it more interesting, probably get some lights or something on there. But yeah, overall, I think this is looking quite nice so far. A fun little experiment with the foam brush. Yeah, I'm happy to call it here for the day. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, guys. It was good to have a talk with everyone who hopped in. And yeah, Tiki, thanks for staying for the whole stream. That was good to have you to chat to. But yeah, I'm probably going to call it here for the day. I've got some stuff to do in a bit, but if when I'm done with that, if I pop back and you're still streaming, I'll pop in and say hi. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you guys later.